What's up, everybody? Welcome to Narco Cop MMA. This is the Lambo Plays podcast, episode 69, UFC 293. And this week, Tim is off again. He's really busy. I mean, he's coaching up tennis winners, so he's going to be off again this week. Had a week off last week. I was in Chicago, but I'm back this week, and I do have a guest of mine, a friend of mine here that's very, very sharp in the MMA community. So without further ado, I do want to bring him on in here. What is up, my man, Sean? Or how you doing? Are you ready for UFC 293?
I am. It's a bit of a odd card, but we appreciate any card. Give us fights, give us things to bet on. That's all we can ask for. So I'm really excited, and I'm excited to fill in for Tim. You know, he's gone missing. Where is Tim? Somebody find him.
Yeah. Are you going to have a show tomorrow?
I will, but I'll do my same thing that I did last
Tim again. Tim
it'll just be me talking to nobody, which
that's not right. That is not right. Tim is not doing us. He's doing us a disservice at this point. But let me go out to chat and shout out my chat as always. Mark Frost, nearly 1 a.m. He's going to watch it in the morning. All right, my man. Daz Files, what is up, my man? Nice to see you. Dumpy is in the house. Will you autograph this guy and autograph his wife, dude? This is it's a monthly little fucking comment on my stream here. Fight IQ, are we parlaying the Aussies? I don't know. I think George Gennaro likes to do that kind of stuff. Parlay all the Aussies, parlay all the Mexicans in Mexico. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it works out, I guess. What is up? Mushroom is in the house. One more sleep. Mike Clavel, what is up, my man? Tom Clark, what is up? Thanks for joining. Fresh Gambles in the house. Kristen, what is up? Hey, Narco. Sean in chat, what's up? Joshua Frick, also in the house. Sean gone. Evelyn Stone, always in here. Thanks for supporting. Yes, Freak says Scottsdale, Arizona is watching while at random weddings. All right, that's pretty cool. He's in Scottsdale, I guess. DA07 in the house. Basil Hazelwood, Aussie fight fan, who's actually going to be at the card and probably in spaces as well. So I love that one right there. What's up, Aussie? SC for all. What is up? Matt Pelletier is in the house. 916 Dave. Mosh family. St. Stephen. Holy moly. Stefferson in the house. The bookies in the house. And without further ado, let's fucking move on, Sean, here. There's 12 fights. There's 67 people still in here. And we will start out with the first fight of the night. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 8-2 Kevin Ducey versus the 10-3 Kiefer Crosby. What do you got here, Sean?
Yeah, Ducey versus Crosby. I wasn't super familiar with Ducey, but I was somewhat familiar with Crosby. I kind of know the way the guy fights. I've watched his tape before. I feel like in this fight, Crosby is going to have his moments early. He is the type of fighter who's very assertive. He can be aggressive at times. He does throw big shots. The issue here for him is that Ducey is tall in his fights. He's going to fight long. He himself is a pretty strong guy. He's going to throw a variety of strikes. I just think the tempo is going to be a little bit slower as the fight goes. Ducey will find his range as the fight goes. So I have a Lambo, and then I have a Corolla. So my Lambo is decision on the Ducey side. I think the longer it goes at plus 350, that's going to look great. I mean, the guy's fought in 5-round fights, and it's not like he really turns up the pace. The only issue I have is that Crosby could collapse. So I think I also like the 3 decision on Ducey at plus 240. So those are my 2.
Yeah, I kind of agree with everything you said about this fight. You know, Ducey, he's a slow starter to me. Like, I feel like he kind of paces himself early. He kind of gets to see what his opponent has. And then as the fight progresses, he starts to kind of crank it up a little bit. Not that he's like a pressure fighter or some volume guy. I just think he gets going a little later in fights. And like you mentioned, like 5-round fights, this guy's, I think, been in 2 of them, not 1. And, you know, and you could see it. Like, he has pretty good cardio for 5 rounds. Like, he's not a guy that gasses out. And on the opposite side, it's kind of a little different, right? Kiefer's completely opposite, in my opinion. He's a front runner. He's a guy that comes out and wants to kill you in round one, right? He's throwing big shots. He wants to get you out of there early, and like you mentioned, the one thing that stuck out here is size, man. Like this guy, Ducey, fought at 85, right? Like this guy's a big dude. Like he's not
Huge.
He's huge for 70, and you could see it in face-offs. I mean, he's the bigger guy. Crosby is thick, but he's a stocky, like type of guy with a lot of power early, but he does kind of like fade as the fight progresses. And, he has won decisions before. It's not like this guy can't win decisions. I just feel like Ducey does good work in the clinch as well. He throws nice knees in the clinch. The one thing that I will say about Ducey that I cannot stand is he tends, like when guys pressure him, he shells up a lot. Like, yes. I get it. He's defending himself well. He doesn't take shots flush. But I don't like that in general. Like just shelling up like that, you're going to get caught. You know what I'm saying? Something's going to get through and you're going to get hurt. So he tends to do that like in fights a lot. I see it. But over the course of 15 minutes, I honestly think that he should have a pretty big advantage here as the fight progresses. Plus 350 is something I already played as a tracked play. I don't mind round 3, honestly. It's 1,300. He's going to have a cardio edge. I'm almost certain of that. And like I said, he throws knees in the clinch. He works that clinch. So a guy like Kiefer Crosby, man, like such a front runner. If he cannot finish early and he actually goes for it like he does, he might fucking gas out. And that's my concern with the decision prop. But overall, I think decision is probably the best prop here, in my opinion, just because of how Ducey fights. Like he's not very adamant, like to finish fights. Like you can even see it in his record, right? He really doesn't have a lot. Look at how many decisions this guy's been to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of the 10 fights are gone to decision.
I'm surprised at the line, to be honest with you. I figured his decision equity would be much lower, I feel like, or much higher.
They gave him like his KO prop. I think it was lower than that. Like just like
it doesn't make sense to me.
Doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it was more of a fade on the other side, like Crosby gasses out and dies, maybe. But yeah, I agree with you in whole here. Like I think Ducey decision here. He's also the hometown guy. I forgot to mention that. It shows he's from France, but he's a hometown guy. He trains out there in Australia, so he's definitely a hometown guy. Moving on. Fight number 2. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 13-7 Shane Young versus the 16-6 Gabriel Miranda. And we already know Shane Young missed weight by about 5 pounds, 4 pounds, whatever it was. This guy looked awful, dude, stepping in. And I don't care about weight misses, stuff like that. He just looked like he was barely walking up, like in slow motion. And he missed by a lot. It's like when you see guys miss by a lot, they're usually not drained, right? Because they didn't even try. I don't know what the heck this guy was doing. Was he injured? Was he like, what's the deal? He's not even a big guy, dude. Like, what's the fucking huge miss for? Like, I really question what's going on with him. Like he's missed before. I know he's missed weight before against Volkanovski, but that was by like a slight miss. But like this big miss is like very, very awkward. Like, could he not do road work? Like, what was going on with this dude? So anyways, talking about the fight, like the thing with Miranda is like he's always flopping to his fucking back. Like every time I watch tape, anything he does, boom, he's falling on his back, ready to throw up submissions off his back. That's all he wants to do. And it's like the last fight was probably one of the only fights he kind of like stood there and slugged it out a little with Benoit Saint Denis. And he actually was not doing bad, to be honest. I think he hurt Benoit Saint Denis, to be honest, at 55. And we know how durable and tough Saint Denis is at this point. So would I be surprised if he kind of like hurt Young early? Like Young is still durable, right? He's pretty damn durable in my opinion. He's hard to get out of there. Is Young going to be stupid enough to like go to the ground? I don't think so. But then again, Miranda might be able to take it. He took Saint Denis down. And now at 45, like maybe he's just stronger and he could take this guy down. But I don't know. At the end of the day here, like I honestly don't like much I will say that I feel like there's some value on Miranda by decision too. Like, I don't know why, because this guy's never won by decision, guys. But fucking plus 750 against a guy like Shane fucking Jung, for Christ's sake. Guy just doesn't win by big margins. He doesn't have a lot of power. Like, how does he, like, why is this guy plus 750 by decision? Like, the other guy doesn't really die, right? Jung doesn't really die very easily. And I feel like the fight probably goes to decision more often than not here. And you're getting 750 on one side that maybe he throws more volume. I don't know. But I'm going to take the 750 shot, man. Like, it's just weird to me that line is that big on Miranda. And I think it's a wiki cap type of thing because he's never won a decision.
Yeah. So, I mean, you and I are kind of in sync here because it feels like, well, first of all, to touch on the weight cut issue, it just feels like at this point, Shane Jung, where he's at with his career, the pressure is on this guy to win a fight. This is not the time to miss weight. This guy's entire career is falling apart in front of our eyes. He missed weight. He looked pretty meek at the face-off, in my opinion. So I just feel like he kind of knows what's coming for him tomorrow night. And everybody was sort of shitting on this Miranda guy this week, a lot of guys that I was talking to. But I don't think Miranda's all that bad. He has this flaw that you've pointed out where he flops to his back. But is that really going to happen here? I mean, is Shane Jung going to be pursuing grappling like you said? No. Shane Jung is probably going to be trying to do a tepid kickboxing match from the outside like he always does. And in that scenario, I don't think Miranda's a fish out of water. In fact, Shane doesn't throw enough. He's always on these thin margins. He does get hit by shots. So, and it looks bad usually when he gets hit. So we're on the same page here. The lines that I like, and I've kind of laddered it in a way, it's almost like when Petrino fought Prachnio. The way I viewed this was I'm going to fade Petrino KO1 because I feel like all the equity is going into this KO1, into the line. So I feel like all of the equity is going into Miranda by sub. So what I did was I did little bets across a few different things. I like Miranda decision. I like Miranda KO decision at plus 390 because I saw what you saw too. I think that's a pretty decent bet. You're just getting off of his sub equity. I like split at 650 and I like split Miranda at 2,200. Now you've got to be reasonable here, guys. I'm giving him many bets. So these are small wagers within many bets. The one that is I obviously like the most is going to be Miranda by decision or KO at plus 390. I like him to win a decision here, but would I be shocked if he hurts Shane Jung? To be honest with you, I hope to God not, because I think if he hurts him and doesn't put him out, he's probably going to jump for a guillotine, which would just crush me on all these bets. So I hope it's just a slow-paced kickboxing match, and if he does hit Jung hard, he puts him out.
I mean, the other thing you mentioned, honestly, and I saw the same exact thing. We're literally seeing the same exact things on this fight. Is the face-off, dude? Like something was wrong with Jung at that face-off, right? Did you see that?
You didn't want to look at him.
Like, I felt like he was sick or something. Honest to God, like he was like red, like very weird, like behavior from him at face-offs. You didn't want to look at him. If you notice afterwards. And I went back just to make sure. I'm like, maybe Jung does this all the time. No, dude, he goes crazy. He flexes. He didn't even flex after, like, you know how they usually look at the fans and flex? He didn't even flex, dude. So it's like, I don't like to put too much into narratives, but something is very awkward there, man. It really is.
Let me say one more thing, too. Just think about the type of guy Shane Jung is. So he's this haka, dancing guy, flexing, like you said. He's the type of guy that's very emotional, in my opinion. And when you have a weight miss that's that humiliating at this point in your career, that's like losing a fight to a guy like this. So I kind of believe in the narrative here. I think that Shane Jung is coming into the fight not in the best headspace, personally.
Yeah, I mean, we're right there with each other there. Yeah, I think probably Miranda pulls off a W here, to be honest. Moving on. Fight number 3, it is in a welterweight division. It is the 3-2 Blood Diamond. I'm not going to call him Mike Mathetha. It's Blood Diamond versus the 7-3 Charlie Radke. What do you have here, Sean?
Yeah, so Radke versus Mike Mathetha. So Blood Diamond, he's just a 0 on the mat. That's the bottom line. I mean, Kasi was taking this guy down. So not really crazy about Blood Diamond. The guy's older. He's probably not going to improve that part of his game too much. I know Radke is a bit of like a regional jobber, but he has fought in good promotions. He is being brought in to be a competitive fight for Blood Diamond. It's not like they wanted this guy to be signed to the UFC, but they brought him in, and he's going to be fighting Blood Diamond almost as a favor to Izzy. I think that the way Radke fights is he's going to go for it early like he usually does. He's going to try and get a submission. He's a grappler. So I don't think there's much to break down here with the fight. The numbers aren't that great, but I did play Radke sub at, I got a worse number than you. I got plus 190. And then I think if you're trying to Lambo this, it's going to be Radke sub 1, and it's going to be plus 400. I mean, that's really the Lambo that you would play. You could probably get a better number on Rivers or Unibet, but this is the one I have access to is 400.
Yeah, I mean, what's there to say about this guy, dude? Like, first of all, I think at this point, he's 3-2, right? In his pro MMA career. He's 35 years old. He's got 2 consecutive losses, one to Orion Koski, who I don't think is any longer in the UFC, which is an absolute embarrassment to lose to that guy. And now he's getting this guy, Charlie Radke, who, like you said, he's a regional guy. I honestly wouldn't call him a jobber. I think he's pretty, like his last win against Raheem Forrest is not bad. Raheem Forrest is actually a pretty decent fighter, and it's actually at CFFC, which I think you've mentioned. That's like one of the best breeding grounds as far as regional for the UFC, correct? Like, they've had the most success.
Yeah, and I want to mention something here. Somebody posted this week about like champions in the UFC performing and how they do, and it really skewed the numbers towards Cage Warriors. I don't want anybody in our orbit to get misled by this data. That is terrible data. If you look at it, it's basically skewed towards 2 guys who have competed in the UFC. CFFC, of all the regional promotions, is going to be second only to ACA and ACB fighters. So it's definitely the highest quality.
Yeah, and I like some fighter, and I watch it all the time. Obviously, I'm a regional fucking idiot. I love the regionals. And I think this guy Radke is actually pretty good overall. Like, I like his boxing. He has good counters. He's got decent wrestling. He's a black belt, I think, in jiu-jitsu. He's not bad on the ground. The thing is, you're facing a guy that's, I always say it, this guy is, Blood Diamond's ultra white. It's not even fucking white belt. He's ultra white belt, if there is such a thing, because he sucks on the ground, dude. And it's like, you're going up against a black belt, even though he's maybe not a high-level black belt, he's still going to absolutely dominate you on the ground, right? And it's like, to me, it's like, he's going to take this guy down, in my opinion, because Blood Diamond doesn't have the best defense either. Koski was able to get him down a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. I think Radke gets him down. Maybe not round 1, Sean, because if you look at Blood Diamond, like round 1, he tends to have decent takedown defense when he's a little fresh. As the fight goes on, his takedown defense is absolutely atrocious. So it could happen round 1, obviously. I'm going to go round 2, round 3 on Radke, not just sub, because I think ground and pound is also live with this guy. So it's 450 for round 2. It's 1,000 for round 3. I'm a sucker for these bets. Blood Diamond is just a huge fade, dude. Like, this guy is like a massive, massive, massive fade. I got in at a pretty freaking reasonable number on Radke by submission. I think I got 275. No, 250. Sorry. I got 250 on Radke submission. I think that's how he wins. But I want to tell everybody something. Glenn Bott, who's normally in my chat, I don't know if he's in my chat today. Maybe he is. Oh, yeah, he is. There he is. Glenn Bott is in here. Listen to this, Sean. He sent me a ticket by their local guys. They had Radke by submission 28-1. And it was like an actual book where you get the ticket.
Hey, Glenn Bot,
Huh?
Glenn Bot, you should have put a lot of money on that. I hope you did.
I said I would have dropped at least 2K on that. At least.
I would have put a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, I mean 2,800. Like
that is definitely a line error. They meant to do 280.
Yes. Sure. Of course, it's a line error, but they gave him the actual ticket. Like he has the ticket.
Yeah.
He sent it to me, so they might pay him out on it. I mean, it's definitely a line error. But like, what are you guys doing? 2,800? I wish I had a piece of that one, Sean. But yeah, let's move on here. I like Radke round 2, round 3. I think he finishes most likely sub. It's gonna probably happen even in round 1, but I can't give round 1. It's so low. I'm gonna go 2-3. Moving on, fight number 4. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 14-5 Nasrat Hakparas versus a newcomer, the 7-1-1 Landon Quinones. And I'll kick this one off here. Hakparas, honestly, like watching all his tape, I think he's got decent power, man. This guy doesn't have like his record doesn't show it, right? He doesn't have a lot of knockouts in the UFC, a lot of decisions, but he's hurting people, man. He dropped Makdessi last fight in the 2nd round. He's wobbling Rafa Garcia, who's extremely durable. He dropped Alex Munoz a couple of times in that fight, hurt him really bad. And it's like all these guys that he's hurting, dropping, whatever, like Rafa Garcia, he's fought all these very, very durable guys, to be honest. Bobby Green, Rafa Garcia, John Makdessi, Dan Hooker, who's actually really durable as well. Alex Munoz is durable. It's the guy that he didn't face that was really durable was Joaquim Silva, and he knocked him out in the 2nd round. Now he faces this guy Quinones, and he looks tough. But when I go back and watch his tape, it's like he's getting dropped, man. He's getting dropped in the regionals. And I'll specifically say which fights I saw him get dropped in. Is he got dropped in Acevedo fight. He got dropped in that fight once. And then he got dropped in the Odawale fight, or hurt in the Odawale fight. So it's like when I see you getting hurt and dropped by these guys on the regionals, I have to think that Hakparas might be able to hurt this guy. He supposedly has recovered he had some kind of injury, Hakparas, that he posted it, and he's feeling much better, I guess, now. He's looking for a finish, he said, by the way. We'll see. I mean, Quinones is there to be hit. That's for sure. He gets hit. He's there to be hit. I think Hakparas round 2, round 3, that's when he usually gets his finishes anyway. He doesn't get them early. He's not really a one-punch guy either, to be honest. Hakparas isn't. But I think as he steams up, and also Quinones, he does gas a little too, in my opinion. And this is short notice. He's fucking flying all the way over there, I'm going to go round 2, round 3 here in Hakparas. I think he probably gets it done this time. 650, 1,100. What do you got here? I don't want to pick knockout just because it was like 50 cents or $1 difference. There's no point. But what do you have here, Sean?
Yeah, we're pretty much in sync here because I'm not a huge fan of Nasrat, but I watched a lot of Quinones' tape. I remember him from The Ultimate Fighter. Big talker in the house. You might remember a lot of people were annoyed with this guy talking himself up. I think Roosevelt Roberts was basically like, can you just please get out of here? I don't even want to be around you. So, yeah, Quinones doesn't really feel very put together to me based on watching his tape. He leaves his head on the center line, and his whole style is to pressure you, get in your face, and throw these really pitter-patter shots. He might go for a takedown every now and then. I don't think that's going to work against Nasrat. I know that Nasrat struggled in that area previously, but he has since been fighting at the high level. He's definitely improved that for going against a guy like Quinones. I just don't really feel like Quinones is particularly strong, has endurance. He has basic skills. He tries to use his motor to win fights. I just don't think that's going to work here. The only Lambo play that I see is exactly what you were talking about. You did 2-3. I did KO 2-3 at plus 380. I know that I'm paying a little bit if he hits a sub. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to put this guy out. long flight, short notice, head on the center line. Just don't do it in round one, please, Nasrat. Don't do it in round one.
Yeah, we see the same exact thing, man. Like, and if you look, like I said, like hack press, like he's got a lot of like round twos, round threes. I mean, his last 3 stoppages are round 2, round 3. I mean, all the other ones, yeah, early on against 0-0 guys are in round 1, but the last 3 finishes he's had, they've all been round 2, round 3, and you could see it in his fights. Like he hurt Makdessi in round 2. He hurt these other guys in like round 3. Munoz was like wobbled all over the place in round 2 and 3. So we'll see. Yeah, hopefully he gets it done for us here in round 2, round 3. Moving on, fight number 5. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 16-6 Jamie Malarkey versus the 18-8 John Makdessi. What do you got here, Sean?
Man, oh man, oh man. Jamie Malarkey is back, baby. I'm really pissed off because last fight I picked his opponent to win by KO 1. Brutal. I should have just hit the KO line at plus 1,000. And I hit KO 1. I think it was like 36-1, something crazy like that. I don't know. So that was a heartbreaker. But I think if you're looking at it from a money line perspective, I think it's probably Makdessi or pass for me, just because Jamie doesn't seem to cover these price tags in his fights. We saw him against Michael Johnson with a big number, did not cover it. I do think that Jamie is going to find a way to win this fight. And the way I view this fight is I'm going to put myself inside of the head of Jamie Malarkey that has been punched about 1,100 times, a second in all of his fights. And just imagine, okay, is Jamie Malarkey capable of learning? Is he capable of learning from his mistakes? And if Jamie Malarkey is capable of learning, I've got to bet Malarkey sub at plus 1,500. Because Malarkey, if he stands with Makdessi, is going to have a tough time. I think he could probably win, maybe on some volume, but he's giving Makdessi a good chance and knocking his ass out. Now, I know Makdessi traditionally has good takedown defense. I know he hasn't been subbed a whole lot in his career. It's only been like 1 sub pretty early. It was a long time ago. But the guy had a torn hamstring. He's getting older. He's going to be the smaller guy. And if Jamie Malarkey is pushing that pace to grapple, I'm just going to hope to God that he submits him. It's a big number. That's my Lambo, 1,500. Yeah.
I mean, I'll never, ever stop someone from playing 1,500s because, I mean, at the end of the day, you're playing a number that's pretty wide. I've said it all week. I love Makdessi in this spot. I don't like that he's 38. I don't like that, he's off these injuries. He also, I don't know if you knew, he fought hack press with 2 broken fingers in each hand. But the one thing that stays the same with this guy, and obviously he's older, right? The one thing that stays pretty consistent, he's a good kickboxer. No matter how you slice it, the guy is a good kickboxer. Does he blow people out of the water? No. But does Jamie Malarkey blow people out of the water? No. And the one thing that I see that favors Makdessi a good amount here is durability. Even at 38, I think he's the more durable guy of these two, right? Not only has Malarkey been knocked out 4 times of his 6 losses, he's been fucking hurt and wobbled in like 7 other fights. This guy he likes to stand and bang, but he doesn't have the chin to do it. It's like, dude, why are you doing it? You don't have a chin to stand and bang with people. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so the thing that I noticed with Makdessi is like, I went back and like hack press fight, right? That was the most recent one. He was 37 at that point. Now he's 38, right? He's honestly competitive fight. Like if you watch round 1, it was like a 50-50 round. I don't know who won. Round 2, he got dropped. He lost round 2. Round 3, in my opinion, he definitely won. This guy was running around the ring. Hack press was running around. He hurt hack press in round 3. He was literally running around. He landed 2 takedowns in round 3, but couldn't control Makdessi. That's the one thing that I realized, Sean, and why I really like him in this spot is because even if he gets taken down, he's very hard to control, man. He gets up right away. He's in his entire fucking UFC career, he's never been taken down more than twice. Never. Right? The other thing is, in his entire UFC career, he's never been outstruck outside of 11 years ago, Anthony Njokuani. He's outstruck everybody in the UFC he's fought. And then people talk about size. I kind of put it in Discord. There wasn't a big size. When they were face-to-face, it was probably Malarkey by 2 inches at most. There wasn't a big size advantage. And then we saw him face a guy like Bahamondes, who's younger, who's longer, who's more of a conventional kickboxer than Malarkey is. Yeah, they're both punching bags, but so is Malarkey. And it's like, to me, that matchup against Bahamondes, for me, is a tougher matchup than Malarkey. So it's like, he won that fight. He pieced up Bahamondes very, very bad in that fight. Why can't he win this fucking fight versus Malarkey? Like, this guy's minus 280. We've already seen him being a minus 400 versus a 45er and get knocked out against a guy in short notice. It's like, I'm going to take Makdessi here. I don't think he's going to knock him out because, I don't know, he just doesn't really go for the kill like that. He's plus 380 by decision. I mean, it's close to his money line at this point, but I think that's how he probably wins. The one other thing I will say is he's at Fight Ready, right? He's been at Fight Ready since June. The one thing that he mentioned, and they asked him specifically, like, what are you doing differently at Fight Ready than you did, at TriStar or whatever? He trained at 4 or 5 gyms. And the one thing he specifically said is, Fight Ready pushes me to put more pressure, throw more volume, which I love to hear that from. Is he going to do it? We don't know. But I love to hear that because that is one thing he fucking lacks in fights. He tends to sit back, just try to counter, not put pressure on people. If he does that against Malarkey, I think he's going to be extremely successful. And Fight Ready, he even said something about pushing his cardio. They're pushing his cardio. And the other last thing I will say is inside information says, and they obviously always say this, but he's looked incredible. So he's been there. By the way, he's been in Australia for 2 weeks. He's taken this really seriously, which at 38, it's his last fight of his contract, he said. So I don't know, man. Is fucking Malarkey a minus 280 against a guy like Makdessi? I just don't see it, man. I do not see it. So I'm going to take the decision.
That's why I bet the sub is because the only way he looks minus 280 is if he takes him down and submits him. Yeah. He's not going to look 280 against striking Makdessi. It's not going to look like
and that's the thing, like, when I watched the tape and like I said, like, no one's really taken him down and controlled him. Like, nobody. He gets right back up, man. It's a thing that I saw, and I don't even think Jamie Malarkey's grappling is all that good on top of it all. I don't think his grappling is any good. So we'll see. We'll move on here. Fight number 6. That was enough about that one. We're going to be in the featherweight division here. It is the 12-2 Jack Jenkins versus the 14-6 Chepe Mariscal. And I'll kick this one off. Fuck, I was going back and forth on this one, Sean. I didn't know what to look at, what to play, but something caught my eye, honestly. Something, like, kind of stuck out to me. Jack Jenkins is a good striker. He's got very good calf kicks. We're not going to overlook that. He's a good boxer. What is he not very good at?
Grappling.
He's not a very good grappler, in my opinion. He loses position a lot. He was mounted by Don Shainis, for Christ's sake. Yep. Okay. And now he's fighting a guy in Chepe Mariscal, who to me is an extremely good scrambler, grappler. Like, this guy's scrambling. He's fucking scrambling with Pat Sabatini left and right, getting on top of him, getting good positions against really, really good grapplers. And, he's a black belt, I think, in, like, not Brazilian Japanese jiu-jitsu, whatever you want to call it. It's still jiu-jitsu, right? He's still, to me, the far, far better fucking grappler here, dude. Like, he just is. And Jenkins initiates grappling in a lot of his fights. It just happens to grapple in a lot of his fights. Even in the Contender Series fight, he got reversed in that fight against that Linares guy. I could see Mariscal catching him in a submission, dude. This guy's been subbed, I think, once or twice already. Both of his losses if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. I think both of them are by submission. Yeah, he's been subbed in both of his losses, and they were, 5 years ago, whatever. But he's facing the best grappler he's faced, in my opinion. And Mariscal is going to make it a fucking mess. He's just how he fights. Submission is 1,200, dude. Why the fuck is his submission line higher than Jack Jenkins? Jack Jenkins is going to submit this guy? No fucking way, dude. I played 1,200. It's like, it's a stupid line. What do you like?
We're the same thing, dude. It's the exact same thing. All I had to do when I looked at the board was remember the Sheamus fight. That's it. I mean, Don Sheamus didn't even have calves at that point. His legs were cooked, and he's ending up on top. All these scrambles. So Chepe went for submissions against Trevor Peek. He almost hit him. That was really sad because we had those big tickets.
Sean, who gets out of that choke outside of Trevor Peek?
It's just Peek.
Jenkins, he's probably tapping, bro.
How many times have we seen Trevor Peek find miracle escapes because he's just the toughest son of a bitch on planet Earth?
And I'm sorry to cut you off, though, and I didn't mention it, which is very important. Did you see face-offs how much bigger Chepe Mariscal was?
Of course
I was surprised. He is.
I mean, he's fought up in weight. He's fought up in weight.
Yeah, he fought at 55. He looks much bigger than Jack Jenkins.
He looks in shape too. People forget this guy. I mean, he's fought really good guys in really legitimate regional promotions. He was brought in pretty short notice to get killed by Trevor Peek. And it was a bad mistake because it just turns out that Chepe is a dog. His chin isn't as bad as advertised. And yeah, I just really like the grappling upside here personally. I know Chepe is hittable, but he is a decent wrestler. He's a decent grappler. So yeah, give me the sub at 1,200. I already played it.
Dude, we're literally on. Guys, by the way, we literally have not talked anything about these fights. And we're
not at all.
Every single play almost the same. Yeah, I mean, 1,200 is, to me, is crazy, dude. He might not get a sub. I'm not saying, but it just doesn't make sense when you watch Jack Jenkins get into these stupid positions against low-level fighters. It's like you need to play it. It is what it is. You might not.
Somebody's going to cash their Jack Jenkins decision plus 110 and go, your play was shit. And it's like, no, dude, 1,200. Come on.
What is up? Addicted to Combat Patrick. What is up, my man? Yeah, I mean, listen, the one thing we know with Trevor Peek is he has like insane strength, dude. Like the guy just like fucking, you're on top of him in mount and he just like fucking throws you off and gets up. It's like he has like supernatural powers, this guy. Unreal. All right, let's move on. Fight number 7. It is in the light heavyweight division. It is the 8-1 Carlos Ulberg versus the 15-4-1 Is it Un or Woon? What are we gonna go with? Because they change it back to Un now. Is it Woon or Un?
Un.
All right, let's go with Un Jung. What do you have here, Sean? You kick this one off.
It's not really a fight I'm trying to target too much. I feel like both guys are actually pretty unreliable. But I do think that Ulberg has more skills. He's obviously the better striker. I'm picturing a scenario here where it's possible that Jung is, maybe clinching him a bit, maybe slowing down the fight a bit, taking some shots but surviving. And maybe Ulberg is just being smart with his shots because, Jung isn't going to come forward like, what was the last guy that fought Ulberg? Who is that guy? Everybody.
The last guy that he KO'd?
A Romanian guy. Yeah. What's his freaking name? Negumereanu. Yeah. So it's not like Daun Jung is going to be that reckless, I feel like. So Ulberg might take the free shots on the outside. He might take the free leg kicks. So for me, looking at this board and knowing that I'm on a Lambo's Play podcast, I'm going with Ulberg by decision at plus 420, but I'm not going to be shocked at all if he puts him out. But I just hope that Jung looks to clinch, Ulberg looks to keep distance, and pepper.
I hope you're wrong because I don't want to sweat out a decision here on Ulberg. Dude, the one thing that I repeatedly see with Jung is, dude, he leans into his punches a lot. He overextends with his punches, and literally his head is right there to be fucking knocked. And that's how he got. I mean, this guy, it's like, I also don't think his chin is very good, to be honest. Like when Jacoby knocked him out, he literally landed a left hook, buzzed him, and then a 1-2 right down the pipe and completely put him out. And to be fair, like Jacoby's okay hitter. He's not like some like huge hitter. I think Ulberg hits much harder, obviously, than Jacoby. And his money punches the left hook, dude. And if you watch the way Jung carries his hands, bro, they're like by his side. They're here. They're never up. So when he's striking, he's just so comfortable, right? Because he's long. He's comfortable to keep his hands here because he's throwing the jab in the right hand. He throws that a lot. It's just that he carries his hands low. And then when he's throwing, he's like literally leaning into his punches every time, coming forward. And it's like left hook he's going to get cracked by the left hook, I feel like. I could see him throwing the 1-2, leaning forward while he's throwing the right hand and just eat a left hook and go to sleep. And that's fucking Ulberg's money punch, dude. And I don't know, man. I kind of feel like he's going to get knocked out here, you know.
But what do you play for a Lambo? What do you play for?
The Lambo sucks. The Lambo sucks. It's a Toyota. It's a Toyota Corolla. It's round 1 plus 195. And then round 2 plus 500. Like, it's a Toyota Corolla. I don't think he's going to get him out in round 3. Like, I just don't think this guy doesn't go around, 3 rounds. And if it happens, it's probably going to happen round 1 and round 2. I do think it's going to happen, though. Like,
I do too.
This guy's defense is so void, in my opinion. It's against a very, very good striker. And we saw it against another kickboxer like Jacoby, right? He fucking ate it. I mean, he ate it. And I think he's going to eat it again. I mean, looking at who he's fought, I mean, a split decision draw to Sam Alvey's like disgusting. Khadis Ibrahimov, who's absolutely atrocious. It took him 3 rounds, and that was an absolute war. Like, it was a crazy war in that fight. It's like, who has this guy really beat? He beat Kennedy, which was a weird, like, elbowing close, like a very mean type of thing, I guess, if you want to call it mean. I mean, he has good elbows in the clinch. I'll give him that. But outside of that, like, he got rocked against Devin Clark. He got knocked out against Jacoby. Like, I just feel like, is this really a step up for Carlos Ulberg? Because in my opinion, I think like a guy like Negumereanu poses a little more problems than a guy like Jung. I just, because he's a lot more durable. He's got fucking that crazy pace and cardio, so he can break you. I just don't think Jung has that in him. So it's like, I don't think he's as durable. I don't think he has the pace or pressure to break you. So it's like, is he going to grapple? That's the only way, right? Yeah. It's a big cage. He's such a slow plotter too, dude. Like he's really flat-footed and slow. Like, I don't see it, man. But Ulberg's decision is very, very sneaky here. If this fight extends. 151 people in here. Shout out to all you guys. Thank you for joining us today with my special guest, Sean Orr, who's spitting fire today. Sean, you're a dragon. Moving on. Fight number 8. Again, it's in the light heavyweight division. It is the 9-4 Tyson Pedro versus the 8-2 Anton Turkalj. I'm playing round 2, round 3. I don't give a shit. I mean, it's square. It's whatever. It's 750. It's 1,500. Tyson Pedro's kill or be killed. I don't care what happened last fight out. I don't care, that fucking Modestas Bukauskas decides to circle around the cage, running around, right? This guy's going to push a heavy pace for Turkalj. He just is. He's going to grapple. He's going to be in your face. He's going to try to get you down on the ground. He's going to keep. And what have you seen from Pedro? This guy fucking gasses, bro. He's got a bad gas tank. Can he kill Turkalj early? I mean, yeah, it's light heavyweight division. Turkalj is normally very durable, but I mean, Pedro can kill him early. I just feel like more often than not, he doesn't kill him early. And I think he ends up getting killed in round 2, round 3. So 750, 1,500. I'm on the Turkalj side here. I hate the cardio from Pedro. Going into last fight, I read all these things about him. Oh, cardio's great again, and he's been doing a lot of work, road work, and the cardio is going to be unbelievable for it. And he looked like absolute dog shit in a slow-paced fight, dude. Like, that was a slow-paced fight. Why were you tired? He was tired after round 1. So it's like, I think Turkalj breaks him, honestly. Like, this is the fight where we get round 2, round 3 on this Swedish dude. What do you like here, Sean?
Do you think it's a sub or a TKO?
I think possibly sub, honestly.
I think it would be a sub.
Sneaky sub.
Yeah. So I'll go opposite just for fun. I think, it's Pedro. And let's talk about the cardio. So I watched some videos of this guy doing some strength and conditioning and stuff like that. And, he looks explosive, right? He looks like he's pretty athletic. But you watch him in the cage and you can just clearly see the damage to the knees, the way he moves, like, because he had these knee surgeries. I don't necessarily think his cardio is bad in the sense of like more road work is going to fix this guy. I just think he's kind of a front runner. I think he kind of always has been. If you go back to even like the Shogun Hua fight, he basically like collapses as soon as Shogun isn't dead. Now he's really tired. He gets taken down one time and he's just giving up. Now, for me with this fight, I could see it going a couple different ways. I could see it going your way, which is 2-3 Turkalj, if Pedro's cardio is indeed that bad. But I just have a sneaky suspicion here that Pedro is going to kill him in round 1. I don't know. I've just been getting this feeling all week that Turkalj is mush. I don't know. It's just a feeling. And I think if it happens, it's going to be a submission in round 1. I think he's going to club and sub him. Turkalj is going to jump in for the legs after getting hit, and he's going to get guillotined. And that number is like 850 or 950. I forgot what I played.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this guy, the one thing we can't say that's not true about Turkalj is he's a fucking punching bag. Like, he eats punches, not with he doesn't block them with his hands. He blocks them with his face. So it's not good, obviously. Like, your durability can be good, and then all of a sudden, bam, at one point, because you can only take a certain amount of shots at 205. Like, you're not just going to eat everybody's shot. Like, he ate, I can't believe did you watch the Petrino fight again? Some of those shots, dude, he took some hellacious shots. And Petrino, very fucking hard, man. I couldn't believe he took some of those shots. I'm like, how is this guy taking these?
Well, what about on contenders too? That dude,
he's a blockhead.
That dude was freaking wailing on him.
I mean, that guy, the Brazilian guy, Akai, he literally winged shots. Like, he puts everything in every one of his punches, man. And he was landing on him. And he tends to eat them. And according to Kovath, he says Pedro had a stomach bug last fight against Makdessi. That's what Volk said. I don't know how true that is.
Don't believe
but how about the other fights, though? The other fights,
don't believe his lies.
Yeah, was that stomach bug as well? Like, this guy just gasses in every fight I watch. Like, he's just a front runner, and you could see it with his record, dude. Like, it's all round 1 finishes. That's it. He's never won a single fight outside of round 1. Never. If it goes past 1, he loses. He either loses a decision or he gets killed. And the only person to beat him by decision was Bukowskis, who really doesn't put a lot of pressure, and Latifi, who was taking him down and just sitting in his guard. It's like, I don't think this Turkalj is probably not going to do that the way I see on tape. Like, he just doesn't fight like that. But round 1, like you mentioned, is probably a very dangerous round for Anton. Moving on, fight number 9. It is in the heavyweight division. It is a 6-3 Justin Tafa versus the 12-3 Austin Lane. And Sean is smiling here. What do you got, Sean?
This is my main event. Austin Lane versus Tafa. The first fight happened. Austin Lane was working Tafa, had him in the zone, had him right where he wanted him, and then Tafa quit after getting his eye absolutely squished. But in all seriousness, I just have to go back to the well. I did the same thing last fight I'm going to do it again here. I'm going over. It's sloppy heavyweights. How many times do we have to see this thing play out, right? We saw it with the Usman versus, isn't that the other Tafa versus Junior?
Yeah, Junior.
Yeah, I bet that goes the distance in that one. And it was big numbers. When you get these sloppy dudes who basically their window to win to finish is to land a clean shot, you have to bet these overs. And I know it's disgusting because you're going to watch Austin Lane get knocked out in 90 seconds, but I swear, I promise to you, it is a profitable way of betting these heavyweight fights. So I'm going with goes the distance plus 500, and I'm getting crazy here. I'm going Lane decision, and I think you can get as high as like plus 1,200, right? I got 11. I played 1,100 though, unfortunately, but I think you can get 1,200.
So if you're gonna play decision, poke at the fucking split, bro. It's 3,500. 3,500 on Lane by split. Like,
and Lane is shit. He's shit.
He's shit. We're with each other. I already have a bet on the over 1.5. I played it very early in the week. When I watched tape, I'm like, dude, this guy Lane, like, if this guy doesn't kill him early, like, this is probably gonna go over, right?
I agree.
He has okay power, but nothing like big or starching. He's the much more athletic guy. Don't get me wrong. They're heavyweights. He used to play defensive end for the Jaguars or whatever. The guy's a little more athletic than Tafa is, right? Tafa's looking to just take your head off, right, with power. The thing is, Tafa has pretty good takedown defense. Honestly, I've watched some of his tape, like where he's at decent takedown defense. I think that's probably Lane's path, like to finish, like getting him down and maybe getting in mount or submitting him somehow, you know, something like that. I just think there's going to be like cage pushing, sloppy shit, like you said. And watching this guy Lane, I'll be honest with you, he's a knockout waiting to happen. Like, he's defensively, he reaches a lot. He's like reaching, but he's so damn long that, you know, Tafa needs to get inside to fucking land on this guy on his chin because he's very long. So, fight goes to decision is 500. I'm not overlooking that. It's a play for me. I already played over 1.5. Like I said, split decision. If this fight hits a scorecards, it's going to be messy. I can almost guarantee you it's going to be messy, right? Tafa's the hometown guy. You never know how the judges look at it. Both sides are fucking tempting, to be honest. One is 3,500. The other one's 2,800. You know, it's
what's the combination of the two?
The combination, I think it was 12. Let me make sure. The combination, 1,800.
Here.
1,800 by split.
Give me a second. It won't let me. I was going to do the math. Never mind.
It's 1,800 by split. It's probably better. Usually it's better. That's the better number. But like, why? Why not? Like, if we think this fight's going to go to decision, we said it's going to be sloppy. We know that. They're both heavyweights, so no one's going to really fucking, if they're not going to knock each other out, no one's going to really pull away via grappling or something. I doubt it. So it's going to be a sloppy striking match. Both guys are going to probably be tired. I think Lane does have the better cardio here. But yeah, man, goes to decision 500 and play the splits, dude. Those splits are amazing. If it goes to decision, you're really going to be thanking us here when it's split and you hit a 3,500 ticket or a 2,800 ticket on one of these guys.
It'll be a fun sweat for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Unless Tafa, like we said, you know, I think if anybody knocks anybody out early, it's probably Tafa. Like,
yes.
I don't think Lane really hits that hard, to be honest. I mean, he doesn't
know what he's doing.
Huh?
He doesn't even know what he's doing.
Yeah, the best part is that he's at Bulldog Boxing, and it's like, bro, they're not teaching you very good. And you know who else was from Bulldog Boxing? That Tavares guy that was on Dana White's Contender Series, the one with the bad stoppage. That guy has good boxing.
Okay.
You know, that guy had good boxing, but
interesting.
But all right, let's move on here. If this ever works. Topology is crapping out on me. All right. Fight number 10. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 18-6 Manel Cape versus the 7-0 Felipe dos Santos. And I will kick this one off. I think this is a little too much for Felipe dos Santos, honestly. It's like short notice, flying all the way over there, facing, honestly, a top probably 10 guy, man. Like, Manel Cape is really fucking good. I mean, extremely good striker, very, very good counters, very good power for 125. Extremely, like, underrated grappler as well, in my opinion. Like, extremely athletic, good grappler, very good chin. Very hard to knock this guy out. And, you know, the guy he's facing, it's not like it's a shade on Santos. I think though Santos is actually pretty good. He's 22 years old. Like, he's super young, right? He's a shootbox guy. What do we know about shootbox guys? They're hard to kill. They're fucking crazy as shit. They do all types of spinning stuff, right? And they all have pretty much threatening jiu-jitsu or decent, good jiu-jitsu, right? All of them usually do. The problem is, like I said, short notice, fighting against a guy that's probably a top 10 flyweight, it's just a recipe for disaster for this guy. Now, the problem is looking at these props. Like, what? I mean, his KO prop is fucking minus 110, right? You know, round one is, I don't know, 235 is the best number you can find. And that's flyweights, you know. It's just hard to play these numbers, you know, round one against a guy that's never been killed, for one, this Santos guy. And two, historically, right? Historically speaking, Manel Cape doesn't finish his guys in round one. Yes, he has in the UFC a couple of times, but historically, he's like more of a slow starter, and then he picks it up in round two, round three. So if I'm to play anything here, knowing that this guy's on short notice, knowing that Manel Cape tends to fight a little slow early, and maybe this guy brings out the fight in him early because he's a madman, right? This Dos Santos guy. But I'm going to play 2-3 here, Cape. It's 430 and 950. The numbers suck, but the bookies are on it, to be honest. I don't know, man. I think he finishes. I think this guy Santos is going to get clipped. He's going to get clipped hard. He might survive early, but as the fight goes on, I don't think he's going to be able to take him anymore. And I think Manel Cape finishes here in round 2 or 3.
Yeah, similar thoughts. So I did a deep dive on Felipe because I was like, Manel Cape cop at this price in this economy? Come on. So then I looked at Felipe, and I mean, truthfully, like I like the way the guy fights in terms of he goes for it. He's very aggressive, assertive. The issue is he's just not all there yet. I mean, he does get tired in his fights too, even when he has full camps. So given that it is short notice, the way he fights where he's going to be throwing all these different spinning maneuvers, he's going to be getting frustrated. He's going to be chasing at times. I think he's going to get tired. And I played Cop KO3 at 1100, which I think everybody who thinks of Cop, they think of him, like you said, oh, he takes his foot off the gas in his fights because that's what he's kind of shown. But I think this Felipe guy is so hittable. And when he gets tired, it's going to be even more available for Cop that I like his chances of putting him out. Don't forget, and I know you want to say something, but don't forget, Cop was the alternate versus Moreno and Pantoja. He was the alternate. Don't forget. Moreno versus Figgy. Don't forget, he went to split with Pantoja in a fight where a lot of people felt like he won. This guy is probably top 5, if we're being honest. This is a pretty messed up fight for this Felipe guy to be walking into.
Yeah, I mean, they basically said, hey, you kind of got screwed in Dana White's Contender Series. Here you go. We're going to give you Manel Cape, which is, he's going to take the fight, right? Because it gets him he gets his foot into the UFC. I'm thinking, this is my thing. They're like, hey, listen, we're kind of screwing you over here, right? We're giving you Manel Cape in Australia, short notice. You're probably going to get killed. I'm thinking they might actually give him a decent matchup next fight. That's just my thinking because he's from that camp. They kind of like those fighters from Shootbox. Like, you look at that other guy that they're giving him like fucking 15 chances. He's a Shootbox guy as well.
Lacerda.
Yeah. So I don't know,
Daniel.
man. I think Malarkey kills him here. It's probably round 2, round 3. And also this guy Santos, he gets hurt in fights. Like, don't get it twisted. Dennis Paiva knocked him down in that fight. And Paiva is good, actually. I kind of like that guy. He hits hard. He's a smaller guy, but he hits pretty damn hard. So, you know, the one thing I will warn, Sean, I know you said KO 3, 1100, but why not just play the 950, man? Because the way this guy, if he gets hurt, I know he's going to shoot some kind of sloppy ass. And Cape does have submission equity. Like, he has pretty good subs, this guy, man.
He subbed Dvorak.
Yeah, aren't you?
Basically did.
Yeah, aren't you afraid? Like, if he like hurts him, this guy, because this guy shoots when he gets hurt.
No, bro, this is the Lambo show. I'm going for the goal.
You're going balls to the wall.
Said, get greedy. I'm getting greedy.
Yeah. Greed? No, he says greed is good. Greed is good.
Yeah.
Moving on. Yeah. Moving on. It is the co-main event of the night. It is in the heavyweight division. It is the 15-5 tie Tuivasa, versus the 36-10 Alexander Volkov. And you can kick this one off here, Sean.
Keeping it short and sweet, man. I think Volkov is the rightful favorite in this fight. I think that Tai Tuivasa's best chances are early in the fight. I don't mind overs in this fight. In fact, I played them. And I think my Lambo play is going to be Volkov by decision at plus 370. This is a play I made before I was even invited on the show. So I like that number. Volkov, I know he's had some finishes recently, but I just feel like if Tai is getting hurt, let's say Tai is pressuring him, I feel like if he's getting hurt with this big cage and the fact that Volkov is just such a lumbering guy, I feel like Tuivasa can separate and keep himself safe. So don't mind that goes the distance at plus 250, over 1.5, and then Volkov by decision plus 370.
Yeah, I mean, that's a sneaky way of playing it for sure. The one issue I have for Tuivasa here is not so much like head strikes. I'm a lot more concerned with the teeps, to be honest. Like the fucking Volkov teeps, those things are no fucking joke. And this guy, he's a little softer in the belly, Sean. You know, I'm a little concerned he's going to eat a couple of those teeps and literally wilt. A little similar to what's his name? Fuck, when Volkov did it to Lewis.
Well, Gane did it to Tuivasa.
He did it to Lewis as well. Do you remember when Lewis, he was like turning around? He did it like 3 or 4 times to Lewis. And Gane, like you said, did it to Tuivasa. And Volkov has literally those same fucking teeps, and they're nasty, man. And he's so long. And it's like, yeah, I'm only counting on one thing, like teeps, but no, I mean, he can hurt him on the feet as well. Like, let's not get that twisted. I think though early, like Tuivasa is tough. Like he's been knocked out, but the dude can take a punch. I mean, let's be honest. Who is he getting knocked out by, right? That's what we need to look at, right? And you know, Gane was like accumulation of body shots, teeps, blah, blah, blah. He finished him via accumulation, right? But then when you look at Pavlovich, I mean, the guy's one of the biggest hitters, right? The other ones, you know, it's like, yeah, I get it. What's his name is not that big of a hitter, Junior Dos Santos. Not like he's a killer. But back in the day, I mean, Junior Dos Santos was a fucking very good fighter. He does have a little bit of heavy hands, and he got him out of there in round 2. So it's like, do I see Tuivasa like going to round, 2 and then end up getting knocked out? Yeah. I think he survives probably round 1, or he's actually dangerous round 1 as well. But I think as the fight goes on, Volkov is going to get to him. Volkov has actually pretty good cardio for heavyweight, for being a big dude. And like I said, those teeps are fucking going to get to him, dude. They really are. That's where I think the KO might originate from. Maybe it doesn't stop him completely, but I think, that's where it starts. And then I don't know when it stops, but I think eventually Volkov gets it done. 2 is 450 or 430. 3 is 1050. Again, I'm not playing KO. It's 50 cents difference. Like, it's just stupid. I'm not going to do it. Don't get greedy like that. Greed is good, but don't kill yourself. All right, Sean, that's 11 of them, 142 of you still in here. Please do me a favor, hit that like down below, subscribe to the channel, and once you're subscribed, hit that notification button so you know when we go live here for Lambo Plays or anything else I have on this channel. With that being said, main event time, Sean. It is in the middleweight division. It is the champion, the 24-2 Israel Adesanya versus the 27-5 Sean Strickland. You know what? And I know you have a lot of takes on this, so I'll give it to you here, Sean, again. Go ahead. Give us your takes on this fight.
Man, this fight, I don't know. I'll just talk about the fight and then I guess go to a Lambo. But, yeah, I think this fight generally goes under, in my opinion. I know that people are split on how they see this fight. Some people think goes the distance. Other people think under. The reason why I think this fight goes under is because this is quite possibly the easiest opponent that Izzy has had in a very long time. Not only that, but it's the easiest opponent for him to hit because Sean Strickland is just a static target that moves forward at a slow pace and throws 1-2s over and over. It is not going to be a small cage. Sean Strickland thrives in that small cage because he can corner his opponents a little bit easier in the bigger cage. That's obviously going to be incredibly difficult against Israel Adesanya. So just on the dynamic of this fight, I think it leans towards under, and obviously it's going to be an Izzy ITD. I think that also Sean Strickland bringing up a lot of the dog stuff. I know it's narrative based, but I just feel like it's really imperative for Izzy to knock him out at this point. He's kind of have to do it because of all the shit Sean Strickland has talked. But if I had to look at the board and knowing that I'm on the Lambo show, I'm going to go with more of an accumulation knockout here. I'm thinking that Izzy's going to be kicking his legs, working the body. I mean, look at Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland parries teeps. He drops his hand to parry teeps. Do you guys think, honestly, in 5 rounds, that Israel Adesanya isn't going to be able to trick him to the point where he can kick him in the head? I mean, I would be shocked if Sean Strickland made it through 5 rounds. Or not shocked, but I would be a little surprised if Israel Adesanya can't find the kill shot. So I'll go with 345 KO plus 360. I'm not in love with it personally, so maybe you could talk me into something different, or maybe you're on the same thing, because I think it might happen early too.
Nah, I think honestly it happens later. The more I watch tape, the more I think it happens later, in the sense that, not that I don't think Adesanya has power. Obviously, he's got power in his hands. Like, he has KOs, right? The way Sean Strickland fights, Adesanya needs a guy to really throw hard so he can counter him good like he did to Pereira and put him out. Sean Strickland doesn't really sit down on his punches like that. He's kind of throwing arm punches. So I don't think Izzy's going to be able to counter him with a big shot, if that makes sense. I think he can counter him, obviously, but I don't think he can counter him with something he cannot see, basically, is what I'm saying. Yeah, Pereira did, but Pereira, to me, has a lot more power than Izzy. Let's be honest. It just is what it is. I know he got knocked out, but Pereira has more power than Izzy does. The thing that I do see is exactly what you said, is I think those calf kicks are going to add up, dude. They're just going to add up, and he's going to nail them, and Strickland does absolutely nothing with them. Every fight that he's faced a calf kicker, he does nothing with them. He just keeps walking forward, plodding forward, and eating them. Bro, this is a 5-round fight. You can't keep eating calf kicks. And to me, what that opens up is, it opens up Izzy's hands, because he's going to be a lot more stationary because of that. And I think his movement's going to be fucked up. And then Izzy's just going to be able to land at will then. The other thing that I see that might happen is he eats so many of those calf kicks that now he starts reaching, and he might eat a head kick after that.
That's what it is. That's what it is. How many times have we seen in a Sean Strickland fight where he basically chases people while reaching? Well, you reach, they teach. And who's going to teach you better than Israel Adesanya?
I mean, he's the master at it, right? He's the master of managing distance. You know, it's a big cage, which is a very bad thing for Strickland, in my opinion. He needs a smaller cage against a guy like Izzy. It's a bad matchup, man. Like, I get some people love the Strickland side, I guess, at plus 500 or whatever the heck he is, right? But like when you look at the fight, like it's a very, very bad stylistic matchup for him, right? A very good kickboxer that manages very good distance, that's not going to really get in the pocket with you and give you a chance, right? And you're the shorter, smaller guy. Like, did you see him at face-offs?
Yes.
Like, much tinier. It literally looks like, obviously Pereira's a monster, right? But do you remember Pereira, how much bigger he looked than fucking Strickland in that fight? Like, it was hilarious, dude.
Yes.
And obviously, Izzy's not that big. I'm not saying he's that big as Pereira. But even at face-offs, you could see Izzy is much bigger than Strickland here. And it's like, you're at a size disadvantage. You're at a striking disadvantage. You're at a range disadvantage. It's like, I can keep going on and on. Speed disadvantage. And the other thing is, it's like, Strickland's probably not going to grapple. Let's be honest at this point. Is he going to fucking sit there and chase takedowns? I don't think so, dude. And even if he does, right, let's just say he does. Theoretically, let's say he goes in a game plan where he does it, which is probably his best case scenario. I still think Izzy's takedown defense is pretty damn good. And like, I don't think it's going to be easy to land takedowns versus him. It's just not. Maybe he lands one or two. But what have we really seen from like Strickland? Like, is he that fucking great on the ground? I mean, I know he has a decent ground game, but he just doesn't use it. So I don't really see him ending up on top and like finishing Izzy somehow. So it's like, yeah, maybe he lands one takedown. I don't know. Maybe he lands two takedowns. I just think over the course of the fight, man, Izzy's going to get to him, dude. He's going to get him with the leg kicks. He might even catch him with a head kick, which that's I'm afraid of that more early than anything else, like him eating a head kick and putting him in a sleep.
A head kick.
Yeah, and I'm afraid of that early because that doesn't need accumulation. That's like a one-shot thing. You're going to be out, you know? So I'm still going to play 3, 4, 5. I think he finishes here. It's 800. I think it's 11 and 16 were the best numbers. Again, books are kind of like, dude, these lines, even last week, who was it in the main again? Refresh my memory. Was it they finished in round?
It was Cyril versus
did he finish in no, it's 2 weeks ago. Sorry. 2 weeks ago, whoever it was in the main finished in round 3, wasn't it? Or was it 3 weeks ago? I don't even remember.
Oh, I can't really remember last week.
But anyways, whoever it was, and I'll get it before I'm out of here because I have to now. It's killing me. But I had a round 3 prop on that person, and the lines were shit. The lines were shit. It was like 600 in a 5-round fight. I'm like, dude, these fucking books are like on these bets like crazy, dude.
Was it Zombie and Max?
Yes. Max Holloway round 3. Yes. He finished him in round 3, right?
Yeah, I had Max.
So that's what I'm saying. Like they kind of caught on with these things. They kind of caught on with these guys that are very good for 5 rounds that can finish later in fights. And I'm seeing the same fucking thing here as far as these lines are concerned. 800, 1100, 1600. They're not the best lines for 3, 4, 5. But I feel like that's when Izzy probably gets it done here, and just a bad stylistic matchup for Strickland. I'm not saying Strickland's not good. He's just a one-trick pony, dude. From what we've seen on tape, he's a volume guy that plots forward, that puts pressure on people. And if you can't handle it, he's going to probably break you, right?
Yeah.
Is that going to break Izzy? Like, has he not seen pressure before? Like, he's seen pressure for 5 rounds from Alex Pereira, who hits a lot fucking harder, So, yeah, did he finish him in round 5? Fine, he did. But, I mean, he was competitive in that fucking fight and was winning that fight, quite frankly. So,
bro, even in the Uriah Hall fight, it's not like Uriah didn't come back later in the fight and have moments. Like, I don't know where this idea is coming at this point that Sean Strickland is going to melt everybody that he puts pressure on. He didn't melt Cannonier. Cannonier melted him. he really didn't melt Uriah. He had Uriah basically dead to rights, and then Uriah got his way back into the fight, kind of. So, yeah, I really think he's drawing dead. He has no chance, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think they gave him this thing as a favor, to be honest. Like, he takes a lot of fights for the UFC, right? He's a yes man for the UFC.
He deserves it.
Right? So I think he deserved. I mean, he had a win against a guy that's a nobody. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but it's his promotional skills. He deserves
it.
If
100%.
UFC as a circus, which is what it is, Strickland earned the fight.
Exactly. And he takes fights on a whim, right? He takes fights for them. Like, they would get fight. Okay, yeah, I'll fight. No problem. So they love guys. Like, Dana said it a million times. I love yes men. I love guys that when I call him, say, hey, you want to take this fight? Yep. He likes those guys. So guess what? He rewards them. So I think he's rewarding him in the sense that he's giving him a title shot. I don't think it's a reward as far as the fight's concerned, you know? So, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. Maybe it can happen early, but yeah, we're on the same page there. Let's move on to our Lambo Parlays. Here, I got one here for you guys. I will start it off here. I'm going to go with Ducey decision, plus 350. Radke sub, sitting at plus 190. I still think he gets it done here. And Makdessi decision at 380. It'll give you 61-1 there on the Lambo Parlay. What do you got here, Sean, for us? Or are you still cooking it up?
No. I'll give out one. Just, guys, like, listen, I'm not an expert at building a Lambo parlay, okay? Maybe I'll put a little more effort into it and post something up later. But it's funny that because I had this built and the lines have gone down since our show, by the way. So just to give you an idea here, Gabriel Miranda by KO or points must have been I must have made a compelling argument here because it went from 380 or 360 to 300 just on this show. So we're doing Tafa Lane, goes the distance, 500. It's got to be a sweat, guys. No risk, no reward. We're doing Ducey by decision, 350. And then we'll do Miranda by KO or points at 300. That gives you plus, plus 10,700. So 107-1.
Beautiful. 107-1. He's going for it.
I'll play it right now.
He is going for it. I always play them. I'm going to play yours as well. Hopefully, we're going to know if we have a sweat right off the jump because we both have Ducey by decision. So if that fucker does anything to fuck it up, Sean, we're going to be drawing that right away on that Lambo parlay.
And DM me yours afterwards, okay?
Yeah, I will. Thank you for everybody for being here. 137 still in here. Appreciate you guys very, very much. I think Tim will be back next week. I'm not sure. But I do want to thank my guest here, Sean Orr. Thank you for coming in, filling in for Tim on a late notice, by the way. I just contacted him today, so he came in. Appreciate you. I'm pretty sure the chat appreciate you because you have some great takes here. But, Sean, what do you got? Where can they follow you? Whatever you want to give out, it's your floor.
Guys, first of all, Mike, thanks for having me. It's been a minute, actually. So happy to fill in for Tim. You guys know where to find me. I'm on Twitter. I'm at Sean Orr. So just how my name is spelled here. Although I didn't put the @ in front of my name. I will be doing a show tomorrow where I'm going to be breaking down things. And, it's going to be a bit repetitive because you've heard me talk a lot today. But the best part of the show is you guys get to get involved. So right afterwards, you can come up. It's Twitter Spaces. You request to speak. And we can all have a nice little discussion, a nice little laugh together. And it's always fun before the event. So just look out for that invite. It'll probably be, honestly, it's going to be whenever I feel like it because I'm always working around Tim. So just check out my timeline and I'll post up when I want to do it. Okay. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks for coming on. I think we have a kind of a late card. It's 6 Eastern, right? Not bad. So you have a good amount of time. You could sleep in, Sean. You can go to breakfast with your girl. You could do all those fun things, and then you can have your show. Guys, you can find me at NarcoCop on Twitter. Also, tomorrow, live spaces per usual. For this fight card, we do have one of our guests that's usually up on the panel Aussie fight fan. He's gonna be at the fights live, so that's gonna be a great thing to have him in chat. So yeah, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And one last thing, let's fucking cash those tickets for UFC 293.